Hi guys, Paul from Warrior Tactical Systems here. I want to show you a drill I call the Matilda K drill. Matilda K Crabtree was a 14-year-old girl that was shot by her own father when she jumped out of a closet. They had gone out. She was staying at a friend's house. They came home to an empty house, they thought. The father had his concealed carry permit. They heard a noise upstairs. They went up to check it out. The father had his gun in his hand, and Matilda and her friend were hiding in the closet upstairs in her room. When he opened the closet, they jumped out to scare them, surprise them, and he fired a round into her neck that killed her. So the reason for this drill is, so we don't repeat that. And I teach this to my basic concealed carry students. After we get down to the basic marksmanship, it only takes a minute to do this drill, and it gives people an option that they can protect their gun from being taken from them. And it gives them that confidence to take a second to decide what's going on before they squeeze that trigger. At least that's my hope. So let me show you what this drill looks like real quick. What we do here, my gun's extended for whatever reason. Okay, maybe I was coming around a corner, I'm looking at something. Maybe I had just shot and I have it extended and somebody comes from the side, gets a hold of it. But for whatever reason, a threat comes out at close range or attempts to grab the gun. What I'm going to do is pull my arm straight back to my center. Now, if I just use my arms, I don't have a lot of strength there because I'm not putting my body weight into the mechanics of it. I have them do that first just to get a feel for that motion. But what I want to add is a step. I want to step back and use my entire body weight to pull. Okay? And I've had, a lot of times in class, I'll pick the smallest person to do this, and a little 110-pound girl, when she really steps and pulls, can pull me, off balance easily. So let's take a look at what this looks like. Nick, you come on in here and replicate my target. We have a dummy gun. If Nick were to get a hold of my gun for some reason, okay, and I can step back and get that body weight into it, I can rip it out a lot of times. Pull it out, and now I could fire right from here if I needed to. Now, if he were really strong or had a different grip, maybe he's around the gun a little bit more, okay, he has a good hold on it, and I step back with this. What it will do is it will pull him in front of the muzzle. So a lot of times I can fire at least that one round. Okay, go ahead and keep a hold of it. I fire that one round, and then I hit him off of the gun. I can hit with the gun, get the gun back in action, whatever I need to do, continue firing. Thanks, Nick. Also, if he were to just pop out again, I would just yank the gun back. Now I have a minute to see, is this a family member, or is this a drunk kid that came in the wrong house? I had an instance, one of my students told me about a situation like that where somebody was coming through his son's window. He wasn't sure if it was his teenage son or not. Challenged the person, and hey John, is that you? And he said, no. And he had a gun on, told him to get out. It ended up being a kid that lived 2 or 3 houses down that was drunk, that was climbing through the wrong window. So we want to have these other options rather than having to shoot immediately if we're unsure of our threat. Okay, so let's take a look at what it looks like live fire. First off, we just want to get people comfortable firing from that close to their body because it's different and they're not used to a gun going off and being in that position. So what I'll do a lot of times is just get them in the line, get them in a position here, and just let them fire a couple rounds. See that this is no big deal. Okay, I want to make sure that the gun's not too close to my body so it'll cycle properly. If I jam it clear in, I'm going to jam my own gun. So I want it here, especially for the ladies. They have breasts in the way that are going to hit this. I need to keep my elbows down and in, okay, into my ribs. And I'll have them fire a couple rounds just to make sure that that action's working well. So you can see, you can fire very quickly from there, and the gun will function just fine. Now they're a little bit comfortable in this position. All right. What I want next is to work through this drill with the stepping back and taking that minute to decide whether this is a threat or not. So I'll have a student come up, they'll have the gun very close to the target to simulate that somebody jumped out. What I'm going to have them do, I'll call threat first each time. So they'll hear the word threat. When I say threat, they'll step back to this position and their finger should still be off the trigger. Okay? They've got their gun back, now they're deciding whether this is a threat or not. They have to listen for my second command. My second command can be either threat or friendly. If it's threat, they'll fire their prescribed number of rounds. If it's friendly, then they won't fire. They'll come back up into position. Okay? And I'll have them run through this a few times so they get a feel for coming back and taking a second to decide. All right, so again, it'll be threat, friendly, and we go, okay, up, threat, threat, and they'll fire 2 or 3 rounds depending on what the course of fire is at that point. So again, that's a simple drill that can be done safely. Of course, you need to go get training first, basic firearm safety training, but that gives you an option where you can take a second to think and retain your firearm and make that decision of whether deadly force is justified or not. Okay guys, if you enjoyed that video, please leave a comment below and like and subscribe if you haven't already.